Today I'm going to be talking about a couple examples of grassroots political organization, gender equality, civil rights, and social inclusion. First of all is the grassroots political organizing. Um, Grassroots advocates raise the level of awareness regarding certain issues and causes, either local, state, or federal levels. The purposes of these efforts is so that the advocates can influence public perception, regulations, or public policy or legislations. Um, Certain foundations of organizing grassroots advocacy are communication. Um, you have to, by snail mail, email, social media, radio, television, advertisements. You can get the message out to anyone who's interested. The imminence of action. You need to get the message out to who's interested so you can begin to convince them and take action. Method of action, asking the members to make phone calls or emails or other advocacy efforts are small donor fundraising, text messaging, social media posts, petitions, protests, and rallies. And final, it would be a follow-up so that not only do you need to have the members act, but you need to let them know what the effect of their labor has been. One grassroots advocacy group is the Indivisible Project. Its mission is to cultivate and lift up a grassroots movement of local groups to defeat the Trump agenda, elect progressive leaders, and realize bold progressive policies. It's run by former congressional staffers. Their goal is to give people the practical information that they needed to demand the most from the congressional representatives. They use the Tea Party's local defensive congressional advocacy approach and have transformed it to help progressives win. Some examples of gender equality. Some negative examples of it in U.S. sports, like women's soccer is suing USA Soccer, citing inequality of pay, bonus distribution, and poor treatment, like having 13 matches on turf that higher risk of injury while the men only played one. The women's have also won numerous gold medals and World Cups, and the men have not yet get paid quite more. WNBA players are mulling over collection action over allegations that they receive a lower percentage of their league's revenue than the men in the NBA. Women's tennis players continue to push for more tournaments beyond the Grand Slam events to agree to equal payouts for men and women. But some positive gender equality in USA sports, that more women are becoming coaches in professional male leagues. There's a couple in the NFL. There's a woman referee in the NFL. There's several assistant coaches throughout the NBA and NFL. And last year, Nancy Lieberman became the first female head coach to win a title in a professional men's sports league with the Big Three. And Becky Hammon, who was a WNBA player, became the first full-time salary coach in NBA history. A more federal policy that shows gender equality would be including protections for the transgender community in the Violence Against the Women's Act and the Affordable Care Act prohibiting gender discrimination. Civil rights, there are plenty of examples of civil rights in America, but a big thing right now is the immigration. Children and families were being separated at the border, and if they're being told their options, they would know that they could stay together if they asked for asylum before entering the U.S. border. Luckily, thanks to certain civil rights groups like the Physicians for Human Rights and American Immigration Council, earlier last month, 15 infants were released back to their mothers from immigration centers. Another thing that the ALCU is alleging is that the collection of more than 1,000 pages of contracts, emails, manuals, and other materials show that California law enforcement departments have granted ICE complete access to personal data of drivers and that the federal officials were using it to track and locate immigrants in the country illegally who might not have criminal records and would be protected under the state's sanctuary and privacy policies. Um, these are different than the civil rights of the 1960s, but these are still civil rights issues going on in America right now. And an example of social inclusion, a big issue, social inclusion in America is inclusion for the elderly. The loneliness is bad for their physical and mental health. They can have injuries and falls without access to quick help, and it can be, harder time completing everyday tasks. Um, there has been a certain cottage industry that has emerged to help with this. There's companies like Silver Nest and Roommates for Boomers that charge a small fee to match like renters and older homeowners and older renters um, to so that they can pair together, help each other with chores and different things like that, and just to maybe have a friendship or some type of social inclusion. Geriatric social workers definitely make things easier by helping senior citizens get what they need, like home care assistance, special modes of transportations, or any similar needs, and can also help with these companies to help find proper matches for each other.